Hi everybody, here's this week's lecture. It's going to be a short one because we've covered these concepts in great detail in class as part of a classroom lecture. But let's use this as a review and let's apply it in a different way for this week's module, okay? So you had the page before that talked about these things, put some of my slides back up. And here's how I want you to apply it this week. I have a film selected for you. You're going to be able to watch that on, there's a link to that in the next page. And while you're watching it, I want you to constantly be asking yourself, what kind of framing is the director putting before me? So where are the light sources coming from? Is the camera moving or is the moving internal to the frame? Are they using the rule of thirds? What kind of lens size is the director picking here? And you don't have to have those all memorized yet, but you do want to start consciously watching film and asking yourself, why is the director choosing these combination of attributes within the frame and the lens? And if it's done well, and you'll recognize this in good films, it's done to accentuate the narrative. All right, they're making these technical and aesthetic decisions so that it helps the story move along. All right, so to that end, let's just take a quick look at it. Here's a couple of clips from the movie I want you to watch this week, and just this is the first frame in this scene, and look at the composition here. So right off the bat, and you won't see it unless you are paying close attention to it, and here it's much easier with a still frame, but you can tell where the light source is coming from. We've talked about planes of information within the frame to create that depth, that illusion of depth within it. And here you can see these posts, and then you can see this vector line coming up here. And it tells the eye right where we want it to go. And then with the motion, it's just unavoidable that your eye do anything but follow this bus into the frame. Now look at your composition. Everybody's in there. What kind of frame, what kind of lens are they using? And look at this edit, what happened here. Now, again, I want you to pay close attention. There's another plane of information here. And you guys have this in your shooting assignment. You have this line that's going right up, and it's taking you right to where the characters are. What happens is the eye has no choice in the matter but to follow these indicators right to where we want them to go. So look at your light source. Where's that coming from? And a lot of times the director will put the lights in there. That's not the real light source. The real light source is back where we can't see it, but it gives motivation for where the light is. Cut. What happened to the lens size? Camera is moving now. So are the subjects. And watch how the lighting changed, where it went from the back left. Now that we're going to move into tighter shots, the light source has moved up forward of the frame and to the right. And because they're outside and the director's laying these lights in the shot, it's easy to follow this. And now look where the predominant light's coming from. And it makes sense because if he stuck with the backlighting, then their faces would be too dark here, yeah? OTS, an over-the-shoulder shot. And then a simple camera move to close from a 3 to a 2. Now, look at this. From the beginning shot, this is the second shot in the scene, and now it's closing. We're going to talk about this when we get to editing. The grammar of this scene, beginning, middle, and end, is a well-crafted scene. So this is an exterior. Now, here's an interior. And because it's staged as a band that's performing, The director's going to show you the lighting grid in the shots as well. And because it's staged now, you're not constrained to a single light source, which normally we kind of run into, especially with exteriors in the daylight. Where's the light coming from? Where's the framing? Maybe a rule of thirds? What do you think? Now, wider lens, but the camera's in close. It's a nightclub. It's not a stadium shot. There are no super wide shots here. It's tight. It's meant to give you that feel of a packed nightclub. Make sense? What kind of framing? Rule of thirds? What kind of lenses? What kind of exposure? And this exposure is definitely set for that nightclub kind of feel. So what I ask you to do is start watching your films consciously with these things in mind. You can still enjoy the theme and the narrative, but really pay attention to what's going on in your shots. And that's going to help you become better camera people. And we'll get to that soon. All right, that's the lecture. Move on to the next page. Thanks.